Okay, good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to our day 10 of the current ongoing book, Start with Why by Simon Sinek. We are at the chapter 8, Start with Why, but no how. So, since we started reading this book, the author was focusing about the why. And yesterday, when we read about the why is not only sufficient, we should know about how. I think we should have people to how. So, this whatever things we would started, I think we can achieve with that why. We have the clear why, and also we should have a team of people doing that what part, the how part, how to do it. Only then we can make it, we can achieve the goal or whatever we have started. So that should be the right balancing in the process. The author said very clearly about the inspirations motivates people to start initially, but we should have a proper structure and process to sustaining for the longer run. With that clarity of why and discipline of how, and consistency of what will make a success. So today we will start reading from the page 169 on the chapter 8, only if you believe it. There's a small few pages pending from that existing chapter, the current chapter. Start with why, but no how. So who would like to start reading today?
Yeah, I missed that.
Anjali? Suman.
Suman.
Suman,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, please. Hope you can see my screen and
Yes,
visible everything
yes.
clear. Yes,
Yeah, it's
start.
visible.
Thank you. Over to you.
Say it only if you believe it. Dr. King used his megaphone to rally throngs of people to follow him in pursuit of social justice. The Wright brothers used their megaphone to rally their local community to help them build the technology that could change the world. Thousands of people heard John F. Kennedy's belief in service and rallied to put a man on the moon in less than a decade. The ability to excite and inspire people to go out of their way to contribute to something bigger than themselves is not unique to social causes. Any organization is capable of building a megaphone that can achieve a huge impact. In fact, it is one of the defining factors that makes an organization great. Great organizations don't just drive profits, they lead people and they change the course of industries and sometimes our lives in the process. A clear sense of why sets expectations. When we don't know an organization, when we don't know an organization's why, we don't know what to expect. So we expect the minimum. Price, quality, service, features, the commodity stuff. But when we do have a sense for the why, we expect more. For those not comfortable being held to a higher standard, I strongly advise against trying to learn your why or keeping your golden circle in balance. Higher standards are hard to maintain. It requires the discipline to constantly talk about and remind everyone why the organizations exists in the first place. It requires that everyone in the organization be held accountable to how you do the things, to your value and guiding principles. And it takes time and effort to ensure that everything you say and do is consistent with your why. But for those willing to put in the effort, there are some great advantages. Richard Branson first built Virgin Records into a multi billion dollar retail music brand. Then he started a successful record label. Later, he started an airline that is today considered one of the premier airlines in the world. He then started a soda brand, wedding planning company, insurance company, and mobile phone service. And the list goes on. Likewise, Apple sells computers, mobile phones, DVRs, and MP3 players and has replicated their capacity for innovation again and again. The ability of some companies not to just succeed but to repeat their success is due to the loyal followings they command, the throngs of people who root for their success. In the business world, they say Apple is a lifestyle brand. They underestimate Apple's power. Gucci is a lifestyle brand. Apple changes the course of industries. By any definition, these few companies don't function like corporate entities. They exist as social movements. Repeating greatness. Ron Bruder is not a household name, but he is a great leader. In 1985, he stood at a crosswalk with his two daughters waiting for the light to change so they could cross the street. A perfect opportunity, he thought, to teach the young girls a valuable life lesson. He pointed across the street to the red glow of the do not walk signal and asked them what they thought the signal meant. It means we have to stand here. They replied, Are you sure? He asked rhetorically, How do you know it is not telling us to run? Soft spoken and almost always wearing a well tailored three-piece suit when he comes to work. Bruder looks like you would imagine a conservative executive to look like. But don't assume you know how things work simply based on what you see. Bruder is anything but a stereotype. Though he has enjoyed the trappings of success, he is not motivated by them. They have always been the unintended byproduct of his work. Bruder is driven by a clear sense of why. He sees a world in which people accept the lives they live and do the things they do not because they have to, but because no one ever showed them an alternative. This is the lesson he was teaching his daughters that day at the crosswalk. There is always another perspective to be considered. That Bruder always starts with why has enabled him to achieve great things for himself. But more significantly, it is his ability to share his why through the things he does that inspires those around him to do great things for themselves. Like most of us, the career path Bruder has followed is incidental, but why he does things has never changed. Everything Bruder has ever done starts with his why, his unyielding belief that if you can simply show someone that an alternative route is possible, it can open the possibility that such a route can be followed. Though the work he is doing today is world altering, Bruder has not always been in the world peace business. Like many inspiring leaders, he has changed the course of an industry. But Ron Bruder is no one hit wonder. He has been able to repeat his success and change the course of multiple industries multiple times. A senior executive at a large food conglomerate that sold vegetables, canned foods, and meats decided to buy a travel agency for his nephew. He asked Bruder, as the chief financial officer of the company at the time, to take a look at the financials of the agency before he went through with the purchase. Seeing an opportunity others did not, Bruder decided to join the small travel agency to help lead it. Once there, he saw how all the other travel agencies worked and took an alternative course. Greenwell became the first travel agency on the eastern seaboard to take advantage of new technologies and fully computerize their operations. Not only did they become one of the most successful companies in the region, but after only a year, their business model became a standard for the whole industry. Then Bruder did it again. A former client of Bruder's, Sam Rosengarten, was in some dirty businesses: coal, oil, and gas, all industries that created brown fields, land that had been contaminated by their operations. Little could be done with brownfields. They were too polluted to develop, and the liability to clean them up was so high that the insurance premiums alone made it too prohibitive to even try. But Bruder doesn't see challenges the same way as everyone else. Most avoided brownfields because they could see only the cost to clean them up. Bruder focused instead on the actual cleaning. His alternative perspective revealed the perfect solution. Bruder had already formed his real estate development company, Brook Hill, and with 18 employees, he was doing quite well. Knowing what he needed to do to seize the opportunity, he approached Dames and Moore, one of the largest environmental engineering companies in the world, and shared his new perspective with them. They loved his idea and formed a partnership to pursue it. With an engineering company with 18,000 people on board, the perceived risk was greatly minimized, and the insurance companies were happy to offer affordable insurance. With affordable insurance in place, Credit Suisse First Boston offered financing that gave Brook Hill the ability to buy, remediate, redevelop, and sell almost $200 million worth of former environmentally contaminated properties. Brook Hill, so called because Bruder comes from Brooklyn, and as he puts it, it's a long uphill climb to get out of Brooklyn, was the pioneer of the brownfield redevelopment industry, an industry that thrives to this day. Bruder's wife not only steered a path that was good for business, but in the process also helped clean up the environment. It doesn't matter what Ron Bruder does, the industries and the challenges are incidental. What never changes is why he does things. Bruder knows that no matter how good an opportunity looks on paper, no matter how smart he is, and no matter his track record, he would never be able to achieve anything unless there were others to help him. He knows that success is a team sport. He has a remarkable ability to attract those who believe what he believes. Talented people are drawn to him with one request: how can I help? Having defied accepted perspectives and revolutionized more than one industry, Bruder has now set his sights on a bigger challenge: world peace. He founded the Education for Employment Foundation, the megaphone that would help him do it. The EFE Foundation is making significant headway in helping young men and women in the Middle East to significantly alter the course of their lives and indeed the course of the region. Just as he taught his daughters at the crosswalk that there is always an alternative route, he brings an alternative perspective to the problems in the Middle East. Like of all Bruder's past successes, the EFE Foundation will drive businesses and do tremendous amounts of good in the process. Bruder doesn't run companies, he leads movements. All movements are personal. It started on September 11, 2001. Like so many of us, Bruder turned his attention to the Middle East after the attacks to ask why something like that could happen. He understood that if such an event could happen once, it could happen again. And for the lives of his own daughters, he wanted to find a way to prevent that. In the course of trying to figure out what he could do, he made a remarkable discovery that went much deeper than protecting his daughters or even the prevention of terrorism in the United States. In America, he realized the vast majority of young people wake up in the morning with the feeling that there is opportunity for them in the future. Regardless of the economy, most young boys and girls who grow up in the United States have an inherent sense of optimism that they can achieve something if they want to live the American dream. A young boy growing up in Gaza or a young girl living in Yemen doesn't wake up every day with the same feeling. Even if they have the desire, the same optimism is not there. It is too easy to point and say that the culture is different. That is not actionable. The real reason is that there is distinct lack of institutions to give young people in the region of sense of optimism for their future. A college education in Jordan, for example, may offer some social status, but it doesn't necessarily prepare a young adult for what lies ahead. The education system, in cases like this, perpetuates a systematic cultural pessimism. Yes, Pranvi, you want to read?
Yes, dear.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Good morning to all. Bruder realized the problems we face with terrorism in the West have less to do with what young boys and girls in the Middle East think about America and more to do with what they think about themselves and their own vision of the future. Through the EFE Foundation, Bruder is setting up programs across the Middle East to teach young adults the hard and soft skills that will help them feel like they have opportunity in life, to feel like they can be in control of their own destinies. Bruder is using the EFE Foundation to share his why on a global scale, to teach people that there is always an alternative to the path they think they are on. The Education for Employment Foundation is not an American charity hoping to do good in faraway lands. It is a global movement. Each EFE operation runs independently, with locals making up the majority of their local boards. Local leaders take personal responsibility to give young men and women that feeling of opportunity by giving them the skills, knowledge, and most importantly, the confidence to choose an alternative path for themselves. Mayada Abu Jabbar is leading the movement in Jordan. Mohammed Naza is spreading the cause in Gaza and the West Bank. And Main Elri Ani is proving that a cause can even change a culture in Yemen. In Yemen, can expect to receive 9 years of education. This is one of the lowest rates in the world. In the United States, children can expect 16 years. Inspired by Bruder, Aladdin sees such an amazing opportunity for young men and women to change their perspective and take greater control of their own future. He set out to find capital to jumpstart his EFE operation in Sanaa's Yemen capital and in 1 week was able to raise $50,000. The speed at which he raised that amount is pretty good even by our philanthropic standards. But this is Yemen, and Yemen has no culture of philanthropy, making his achievement that much more remarkable. Yemen is also one of the poorest nations in the region. But when you tell people why you are doing what you are doing, remarkable things happen. Across the region, everyone involved in EFE believes that they can help teach their brothers and sisters and sons and daughters the skills that will help them change path that they think they are on. They are working to help the youth across the region believe that their future is bright and full of opportunity. And they don't do it for Bruder, they do it for themselves. That's the reason EFE will change the world. Sitting at the top of the megaphone at the point of why, Bruder's role is to inspire, to start the movement. But it is those who believe who will effect the real change and keep the movement going. Anyone, regardless where they live, what they do, or their nationality, can participate in this movement. It's about feeling like we belong. If you believe that there is an alternative path to the one we are on, and all we have to do is point to it. Then visit the website efefoundation.org and join the movement. To change the world takes the support of all those who believe.
Thank you, Anjali, and thank you, Pranavi. With this, we come to end of the current chapter. Sta- Status, but why, but no how. Let's move. I think we can continue reading that next chapter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Know why, know how, then what? They marched in single file. Not a word was spoken. No one made an eye contact with anyone else. They all looked the same. Their heads shaved, their clothes grey and tattered, their boots dusty. One by one, they filled a large, cavernous room like a hunger from a science fiction movie. The only color was grey. The walls were grey. Dust and smoke filled the space, making even the air look grey. Hundreds, maybe even thousands of these drone people sat on neatly organized benches, row after row after row, a sea of grey conformity. They all watched a projection of a huge talking head on the screen in the front of the room that filled the entire wall. This apparent leader recited dogma and propaganda, stating proudly that they were in complete control. They have achieved perfection. They were free of pests, or so they thought. Running down running down one of the tunnels that led into cavernous hangar, a lone blonde woman. She wore bright red shorts and a crisp white t-shirt. Like a lighthouse, her complexion and the color of her clothes seemed to shine through grey air. Pursued by security, she railed with a sledgehammer. This would not end well for the status quo. On January 22nd, 1984, Apple launched their Macintosh computer with their new famous concept of Orwellian scene of a totalitarian regime holding control over a population and promised that 1984 won't be like 1984. But this advertising was much more than just advertising. It was not about the features and benefits of a new product. It was not about a differentiating value proposition. It was, for all intents and purpose, a manifesto. A poetic ode to Apple's why. It was the film version of an individual rebelling against the status quo, igniting a revolution. And though their products have changed and fashions have changed, this commercial is relevant today as it was 25 years ago when it was first aired. And that's because a why never changes. What you do can change with times, but why you do it never does. The commercial is one of the many things the company has done or said over years to show or tell you outside world what they believe. All Apple's advertising and communications, their products, partnerships, their packaging, their store design, they are all what's to Apple's why. Proof that they actively challenge status quo, thinking to empower the individual. Ever notice that their advertising never shows groups enjoying their products? Always individuals. Their Think Different campaign depicted individuals who thought differently, never groups, always individuals. Their Think Different campaign depicted, yeah, always individuals. And when Apple tells us to think different, they're not just describing themselves. The ads showed pictures of Pablo Picasso, Martha Graham, Jim Henson, Alfred Hitchcock, to name a few, with the line Think Different on the upper right hand side of the page. Apple does not embody the rebel spirit because they associated themselves with known rebels. They choose known rebels because they embody the same rebel spirit. The why came before the creative solution in the advertising. Not a single ad showed a group. This is no accident. Empowering the individual spirit is why Apple exists. Apple knows their why, and so do we. Agree with them or not, we know what they believe because they tell us. Yeah, thank you all.
Okay, I can read if
Yeah,
no one wants to read.
yeah.
Anyone else wants to read?
I think
I'll
Anjali,
Mansi.
read.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
Mansi.
Anjali.
You wrote your name. You go ahead, Mansi. It's long time. You read.
Okay, okay. Speak clearly and ye shall be clearly understood. An organization is represented by the cone in the three-dimensional view of the golden circle. The organized this organized system sits atop another. Why, how, and what? And now they have taken it as a pie chart. This thing: organization, historical, organized, marketplace, non. Acha, hierarchical. It is, sorry. Organization, hierarchical, organized, marketplace, non-hierarchical, chaotic. Okay. System, the marketplace is made up of all the customers and potential customers, all the press, the shareholders, all the competitors, suppliers, and all the money. This system is inherently chaotic and disorganized. The only contact that the organized system has with the disorganized system is at the base, at the what level. Everything an organization says and does communicates the leader's vision to the outside world. All the products and services that the company sells, all the marketing and advertising, all the contact with the world outside communicate this. If people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And if all the things happening at the what level do not clearly represent why the company exists, then the ability to inspire is severely complicated. When a company is small, this is not an issue because the founder has plenty of direct contact with the outside world. Trusted how types may be in short supply and the founder opts to make a majority of the big decisions. The founder or leader actually goes out and talks to customers, sells the product, and hires most, if not all, the employees. As the company grows, however, systems and processes are added and other people will join. The cause embodied by an individual slowly morphs into a structured organization and the cone starts to take shape. As it grows, the leader's role changes. He will no longer be the loudest part of the megaphone. He will become the source of the message, and this that is to flow through the megaphone. When a company is small, it revolves around the personality of the founder. There is no debate that the founder's personality is the personality of the company. Why then do we think things change just because a company is successful? What's the difference between Steve Jobs and the man and Apple, the company? Nothing. What's the difference between Sir Richard Branson's personality and Virgin's personality? Nothing. As a company grows, the CEO's job is to personify the why, to ooze of it, to talk about it, to preach it, to be a symbol of what the company believes. They are the intent, and what the company says and does is their voice. Like Martin Luther King and their social movement, the leader's job is no longer to close all the deals, it is to inspire. As the organization grows, the leader becomes physically removed farther and farther away from what the company does and even farther away from the outside market. I love asking CEOs what their biggest priority is, and depending on their size or structure, I generally get one of two answers: customers or shareholders. Sadly, there aren't many CEOs of companies of any reasonable size who have daily contact with customers anymore. And customers and shareholders alike both exist outside the organization in the chaotic world of the marketplace. Just as the cone demonstrates, the CEO's job, the leader's responsibility, is not to focus on the outside market, it's to focus on the layer directly beneath. How? The leader must ensure that there are people on the team who believe what they believe and know how to build it. The how types are responsible for understanding why and must come to work every day to develop the systems and hire the people who are ultimately responsible for bringing the why to life. The general employees are responsible for demonstrating the why to the outside world in whatever the company says and does. The challenge is that they are able to do it clearly. Remember the biology of the golden circle. The why exists in the part of the brain that controls feelings and decision making, but not language. What exists in the part of the brain that controls rational thought and language. Comparing the biology of the brain to the three-dimensional rendering of the golden circle reveals a profound insight. Start with why, limbic brain and neocortex. Okay, why and how belongs to the limbic brain and what belongs to the neocortex. Anjali, you want to take from here?
Okay, Mansi. You want to continue? You can continue.
No, 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 go on, go on.
Okay. The leader sitting at the top of the organization is the inspiration, the symbol of the reason we do what we do. They represent the emotional limbic brain. What the company says and does represents the rational thought and language of the neocortex. Just as it is hard for people to speak their feelings, like someone trying to explain why they love their spouse, it is equally hard for an organization to explain its why. The part of the brain that controls feelings and the part that controls language are not the same. Given that the cone is simply a three-dimensional rendering of the golden circle, which is firmly grounded in the biology of human decision making, the logic follows that organizations of any size will struggle to clearly communicate their why. Translated into business terms, this means that trying to communicate your differentiating value proposition is really hard. Put bluntly, the struggle that so many companies have to differentiate or communicate their true value to the outside world is not a business problem, it's a biology problem. And just like a person struggling to put her emotions into words, we rely on metaphors, imagery, and analogies in an attempt to communicate how we feel. Absent the proper language, to share our deep emotions, our purpose, cause, or belief, we tell stories. We use symbols. We create tangible things for those who believe what we believe to point to and say, that's why I'm inspired. If done properly, that's what marketing, branding, and products and services become a way for organizations to communicate to the outside world. Communicate clearly, and you shall be understood. Communication is not about speaking.
1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute.
Yes. It's a whole huge.
Yeah, do we want to start? I think if we start now, we wouldn't be able to complete this chapter. So what do you say? I think even if you start, then we can read for next 10 minutes for 5 pages. Then it'll be middle of this chapter. Then again, we have to start from tomorrow. Uh, yeah, this chapter go. I think this chapter goes for a long one. Around 12 pages are there.
Mm.
Okay, team, what you would suggest? Do you want to
We,
continue?
we still have 20 minutes, Rajesh ji.
20 minutes.
Continue, yeah.
Let's start with. Oh, sorry. Okay, we can go for another 10 minutes leading. Mm,
What I would suggest is either we start and finish it since it's a new part starting tomorrow, or we start the whole chapter tomorrow. Because doing it halfway, like I don't know, it's
Yeah, that
everyone
is what
how.
I feel. Yeah, I think even if we start, then we will be in the middle of. We can read the next 5 pages, or we can discuss whatever we have read so far today. Then we can start from that new chapter from tomorrow, so that we will be in that sync continuity. What would you suggest? Even if you read that next 5 pages, 5 minutes, we can read it. Two or three
No,
pages
I
only we
think
can read
also
it.
if we read for another little like 15 minutes or so, we might finish the chapter also. Like it's 12 pages, right? Like I don't know, like I'm assuming, but I'm not
Yeah, I
sure.
think around 13 pages are there. 13 pages. It will take around 20 to 25 minutes. Is it
Oh, okay.
okay to read?
No, then we won't be able to get time for discussion, no?
Yeah,
So
then we will
that's
be in the middle of. Fine, I think I would suggest we can stop reading today. We can discuss about it. Even if you want to wind up a little early, we can wind up early. Then we can start again tomorrow with this a new chapter.
Right.
this chapter is very interesting though. Like I like the title. I'm curious.
This one,
Yeah,
Okay.
actually,
communication is
communication. Yeah, this was interesting.
speaking. It's
And
about listening. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it was interesting. And what we read today, it was not much because we were just focusing on one person and how he established the EFE Foundation. So this was something different. Anyways, we can finish reading. We can just discuss whatever we have read till now. So we can be like on the same line, and it would be new beginning from tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
Communication. Yeah.
One moment. Yeah, I think today we have read off of the chapter, the part of the chapter from the previous chapter. 8 chapters start with why, but no how. I think that is what thing we called about the DFE Foundation. Anyone would like to share before starting that new one, the next chapter, the know why, know how, then what? Do you share any points on the previous chapter?
I personally had missed the reading yesterday, so I don't know much. But whatever I read from the summary, it was very interesting. Like I like the summary, like where you and I today I actually realized the benefit of summary sharing because I could actually get a gist about our reading yesterday, and I like that part where it shared that how two people, one with a why and one with a how, can come together and partner to create vision a reality. So that was something which I really liked. I would want to go back and read it. So yeah, and
Yeah, yeah.
even in today's chapter, it covered that part to some extent where I also read that part. So that was also very interesting. I like that approach. I like that it was some thought provoking reading as such.
Yes, Manzi. Yesterday's reading was really very core of this particular book. I would say. I think that a lot of interesting factors we have discussed, the author has discussed. Um, uh, the book mainly starts with that why part, but why it is important, or how it is going to help to reach that why, and how they both are thinking each other to make a success or to achieve that result. That detailedly explained in that the last chapter. So that is what we continued today. Anyone would like to share some thoughts about the first part of reading today?
Yes, it was again the same. Why is clear. First of all, on the top ladder, it is necessary that their why should be clear. And then they have to transfer that to the CEOs and other team, that what the leaders believe, they have to believe that. They have to choose the team accordingly who believe in their why, and they have to communicate to the further ladder, and then ultimately to the customers, because why is the biological part, that why they should believe that, that touch the emotions.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, man, yeah. The why part is, yeah, touches emotions, and
And they must be able to communicate their why to the lower ladder also, where the customer belongs.
yeah, yeah. Then would you like anyone would like to share about that? The next chapter we started today, the know why, know how, then what. Not only knowing why is important, I think we also should know about how. We also should know about the what part. Uh, I think the author has clearly explained about how the brain works, or that which part has work in that Y part, the limbic brain and the cortex brain. He explained with that picture.
So few things that just popped up for me while we were reading today, like maybe I don't remember which part it is exactly from, but I could connect with these few things from our branding and advertising perspective, from what I understand. First thing, what the topic that we were discussing earlier, like two people could have different qualities or strengths, we can say, like someone can be able to think of the why, but the other can be a better executor. So even in designing art and all of that, now we see that some people are very good executors. So even in teams, it is important that we have there are people like who are visualizers, so who will only ideate, who will only work on the ideation part. They will not be very good at executions, but there are other people who are very good executors. So I remember when I was having an interview with one of the mentor, he had asked me, which part do you belong to? And at that time, I was very young, so I just answered, oh, I am good at both. But now, like going back, I realized that no, I am more of a ideator and more of a this thing than an executor. I enjoy that part more. So I totally agree on that. And other part which highlighted for me was they talked about this extension, right? Like Richard Branson, and they named a few people where they and their brands, they talked about Virgin brand and a few others, and they talked about they are not different as such. They are more or less like an extension of the personality of that person, of that person whom they belong to. So I feel like I understand that this is also a very core part, which we call as brand alignment, or like especially nowadays it's more about personal branding. But whenever there are brands with names, which people create, but we when we work on a very on a level where we do brand guidelines and manuals and all, where a brand goes on a bigger level, it's also important that there is a brand guideline, so there we work on these values of the brand and all of that, which are more or less extension of the founder or the person, and that plays a very important role into creating that positioning, as they call, of the brand, or basically building that trust which the author also talked about in a different language and examples as such. So I could connect with these things today from my professional background. So that is what I was just thinking of. I could relate with all of those actually, what he was talking about.
Yeah. Thanks, Mansi, sharing with that a personal experience with that the current reading. Here, I think the today's part, the author talks about that CEO. I think times the leader, we don't need to expect leader to know about everything. The leader should know about and inspiring. At one point of time, the leader should inspire the value, the culture, and all those things, and delegate to people, those who can do make it, who can take care of the how part. And if you both take care, if we both take care why part and how part, then automatically what we're going to achieve the target is automatically happens. There are sometimes micromanagement at the deep level every time. The leader insisting more on that, the how part, what to do, all these things. What is your thought process, or what is your suggestions? If the leader should know more about not only why, the person should know also about the how part, or what is your thought about leave about how part? The leader only inspire why, or the leader only inspire people with that why part. Do you have any thoughts in your mind to share on these two different things, or what is your perspective, or what is your research idea?
Good morning to all.
Yeah,
I
Pradeep.
don't know. I mean, this point is connected to you or not, but then uh, I think the why. I mean, coming to the Apple company, the owner of the Apple company, um, they have insisted few lines. I mean, I read few lines on this, telling that he has never showed things in terms of groups as such. His focus is morely on the individual part. So, I mean, how an individual can be empowered and um how to empower it and all that. So, whatever the desire is, like that, why should be focused everywhere in the advertising. I mean, the amplification process is in 360 degrees. So, there shouldn't be any mismatch while advertising. Maybe the Apple company's owner is focusing on the individual, and if he shows advertising related to the team and all that, so there will be a mismatch. So you need to be careful about the why factor in all the directions. So that you have to put in eye. If at least one factor is missed, there will be a confusion and there will be mismatch in terms of the universal vibration and also in the people around K about the founder's vision. So you need to be careful that in which all directions you are taking that part of the why. So I don't know how far I'm clear, but
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I'm trying
Thanks.
to.
Yeah, thanks, Pranavi. I think what I understood from you that with the organizations, or if they are promoting something, advertising something,
Mhm.
they have to focus on that why part to keep the audience, or to make all people attention. If they leave, or if they move behind, the why part is not clear, that is not the organization may suffer, or organizations may face some challenges. How can you make these learnings from the personal perspectives? Okay, leave over that organizations, whatever talk about it, the leadership and all those things. How can we take this part to the personal perspective, or the individual perspective? Anyone would like to share? Yeah, Mansi.
Um,
Yeah, Pranavi, carry on.
uh, when I worked with Monster.com company, the founder wants to uh, fill the walls with all the vibrant colors because that vibrant colors would always lighten up your frequency. There wouldn't be no question of drowsiness and you would always be active. So the Monster.com's walls used to be like dark lavender with a dark pink and with a lot of vibrant colors because your brain frequency gets activated with the vibrant colors. So that concept I have taken when my children were small, I used to make their room as vibrant as possible because they should be active all the time and then get connected to, higher energies. So that I have learned. And one more is, have you ever seen the name of the Dell company, wherein DELL, E would be little of cross. I mean, in the
Slide,
cross shape.
slide. Yeah.
Yes, that's actually the meaning that uh, it's a shape of a mountain wherein the company keeps on growing. So even in the name of the company itself, that symbol represents a lot. So even this would also help us in the daily lives as well. If you wanted to work out on your branding or anything as such, you can, in the name or the name of your company or whatever, you can add a symbol which would get connected to higher levels. And you're not advertising in a direct way. In an indirect way, that symbol itself would represent the growth of your company as well. Uh, yeah, that's what I thought of telling. Thank you all.
Thank you, Pranavi. Yeah, Mansi would like to share. I think.
Yeah,
Nice.
definitely.
Yeah.
So, firstly, what Panav is sharing, that is what, like, when we work on a like when we work with any brand, like that logo designing and all, there are multiple ways of logo designing. Like what you're talking about is one of the ways where a symbol and the name comes together, but there are multiple ways, and that is also defined why which logo and how you should choose, depending on your values or whatever, everything, or there are many things, there is a bigger brief. So yeah, and there are many examples. Even Baskin and Robbins, if you see, there is a number 31 in their logo, which indicates 31 flavors of the company, which they started with. Like they wanted to show that we have one flavor for every day. We have a new flavor for you every day type. That was the positioning then. So that there are many logos, you'll find it this way. And coming back to the point, I wanted to I raised my hand for Rajesh question, where you asked on a you asked something, right, like on a personal level,
Yeah.
how do you see that's why and how happening for leaders, or something. So what I feel from that, that a leader or whoever, in any, like, even a home, even a mother who's a leader of the house, or whatever. So it's very clear. I think the why has to be very, very clear, for the leader or the main person, and how they should know, because they have to know the how, because otherwise people might come and fool them, saying, oh, this is difficult or this is easy and all of that. They should know the how, but I personally believe that they should not indulge in the how. Ideally, it should be in such a way that that they should be able to delegate the how, and the others who are working on the how, they should be clear about the why, but they should be better at the how. I feel it should be this way around. But many a times we find many people who are solopreneurs, or even in offices and all, we have people who are very much into, like, doing everything themselves. I feel that obstructs them, or that becomes a hindrance for them, because then they are not able to trust others and allow others to grow and evolve through experimentation, through learning. So I think that is very important, and for any leader, it's important that you should allow others that freedom, and that freedom of even making mistakes, for that matter. So I think, for me, what I felt is why has to be very clear, and how should be known, but it should not be, you should not be very much involved in the how, as such. You should at least create some systems or something where you will slowly and steadily move out from the how, and others can take care of the how, knowing the why intact, like, so they are both in alignment, is my perspective on your question. Yeah.
Thanks, Mansi, for sharing your detailed explanations. I completely agree with you. In leadership, whether it's a family or an organization, if someone doing that all work by themselves, himself or herself, being a leader, that is not going to make a good bonding or the good team effort. I think as a leader, she should know delegate the work. there is a one small Tirukural in Tamil. Ichayal even செய்வான் enjoying அச்செயல் அவன் கண் விடல். There is a one Tirukural. There's a famous poet Tiruvalluvar said in this one. That means as a leader should know about who can do this work and understand and delegate the work to the person and give it to them. As a leader, we should also find that who can do this work. That is what a very important, right? If the leader has a capability of doing all these works, but doing that one, that is not going to make achieve anything as a group or as a team or as a organization. We should not delegate the work, trusting people, understand the failure, accepting the failures, and come over the failure, taking actions, and keep on monitoring it, keep on checking and give them feedback, freedom, and encouraging them to work. That's how they will make them to glue, they will make them to work more on this work. This can be applied at home also. I think we can delegate the work to our, if we have kids, we can give them, we can trust them. Okay, get this work done. For example, go to market and get something if they are eligible, if they can go it, or delegate some work to them so they take ownership. That's how they build a character, build the expertise on the particular work. That applies everywhere. Any thoughts? The last one, last 2 minutes. We have great sharings today. Anyone would like to share any thoughts?
Yeah, as you said, at the personal level, when you delegate certain work, I mean, at a personal level, if you are in that leader position or in the ownership of a company or something like that, you would definitely have peace of mind to work on the other factors as well. Because when your mind is totally constrained with your own work and you are working without delegating the work and all that, your mind will be constrained. So when you delegate the work, you will be at peace of mind and you can work and expand your thinking pattern also. So yeah, that's what I thought of
Yeah,
telling.
yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right, Pranavi.
Yeah.
Okay. Any thoughts from anyone for the closing
Yes,
note? Yeah,
Sandeep.
Anjali. Yeah, Anjali.
So to be a leader, we need a team. And being a leader means we have to be away. The leader should be separate from the team. That is how, like, if he knows everything, what to do, how to do, there is not a team is not required. A team should consist of the executors, the doers, the laborers. So it goes in a hierarchy wherever we say that every person holds a knowledge, a different knowledge. There are different levels for those knowledge. So the leader is only the visionary. He is the person with the idea, or he is the person with that spark with which he leads the team. So it is not necessary that he should know each and everything. And it's always like today we read about Ron, what was the name? So he also said that there is an alternative to every perspective, every thing, whatever we want to achieve, there are different routes and there are different choices, perspectives from every angle, every person's view. So let the leader always gives chance to others to express their views, their ideas, and that is how a team works. When we have multiple ideas, when the leader is the one who decides which aligns with the thought, which aligns with his motive, or which aligns with his motto. So that is the job of the leader. It is not to do everything on his own. It won't be a teamwork then, and it won't be a he won't be a leader then. He would be an individual leading a journey alone. So this is a teamwork where we have to delegate the job according to the qualifications, according to their capabilities, and that is the job of the leader, to express his why clearly to the team and get the work done, to delegate the work to the uh, perfect people, or those people who can work on the how and what. This applies in the family as well, this applies in the social life. If in the family, like, being a mother, I come up with a thought, or I come up with a necessity that I need this thing, that then the responsibility lies on the children. If I want them to clean the room, I have to just give the idea that this is what I want. that is how they are doing, that is their responsibility. So I leave it to them. If I tell them each and everything, it's better I do it myself. I would be wasting my time on that thing. So it is a teamwork. Everywhere it is a teamwork. So leaders should know how to lead the team. This is like why, how, and what. So it has to be a teamwork and it has to be delegated properly. This is my
Thank
takeaway.
you, thank you, thank you, Anjali, for your sharings. I'm so delighted to hear your each and everyone's sharings and takeaway from this reading the book. We are not just reading the book, the chapters. We are discussing about how we can implement, how we can apply it in our day-to-day work, whether it is a personal life or the professional life. That is a great thing. I think as a community, we are together, and these sharings, I'm really so delighted to hear each and everyone sharing your thoughts and your learning. It's going amazing, and let's spread this and
Rajesh,
keep continuing the journey. Yes, Manishji, I think take
just
last
take
1 minute.
30
We can
seconds.
close this. Yeah,
Yeah. I'll just take 30 seconds. See, the
yeah,
author
please.
mentioned about this why, what, and how with the biological part of the brain, the limbic system. Like, how we engage the different area of the brain to do a task. So this why and where, why and what, they just go hand in hand. They just support each other. See, I might be inspired by reading a great book right now, okay, but if I don't know the how, my inspiration will just fade away in some time, right? So it's just like when your why and what is clear, you are engaging uh, the part of your brain, the limbic system, to its right potential. So, and with that inspiration and that how factor, basically we are getting a clear roadmap of what we are trying to do. And when we activate the right sections of our limbic brain, we are able to complete the task, right? So it's just like believing, trusting, and having that belief and setting a clear roadmap of where we are going. So the point is, if the direction of life is clear with the right why and what, then the destination is a certain, basically. And the what factor refers to your like neocortex thing, like, okay, what we are trying to what services, what products we are trying to deliver. So all these factors, they work hand in hand because they all support each other during the up and downs of the journey, basically. When you are motivated enough that yes, this is how you can do it, and this is the purpose, this is the belief, this is the trust you have on yourself and in your team, and I think that's the power and the energy that you carry to complete the task. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Manishji, for sharing your inputs about that, how the brain part, the limbic brain and your cortex brain, how it works and how it's helping. Thank you once again. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today and wonderful reading and great sharings. Uh, have a wonderful day ahead and apply whatever learning in our day-to-day activities. I would like to see you all sharp at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Okay, sharp at 7
Thank
a.m. Let's start reading at sharp 7 a.m. so that we can have more discussions by the time of 8 o'clock. I think I just want to finish the session by 8 o'clock, not to cross that further. So let's practice from tomorrow on. Let's start and end at right time. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you, thank you. Same to you. And
Yeah,
looking forward to reading tomorrow. Thank
yeah.
you. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone. Thank you,
Rajesh.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Mansi, Rajesh.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Hi,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now, when can we do the October happiness project? How many days it will take? Monday we can start, or
oh, huh. I
Yeah,
forgot
October
about it.
happiness is pending, right?
Actually, this
Yeah.
time. Last time we took it a little late, na, so it just skipped my mind about doing it
yeah,
at the beginning of the month. Yeah. How many days you think, Rajesh, it will take us for completing
See,
this book?
I think this
I'm not
book,
sure.
1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Let me stop recording. 1 minute.
How many chapters are there? Hey, how do you stop the recording in the middle? I don't know that.
And there is an option available. Okay, there is in the
On
mobile.
laptop it is there, na?
No. From the mobile